And welcome to Cage Chronicles Enter the Den, the first one we've ever done. Pretty excited to get this podcast going. I've been talking about it for a while, and we've got some cool guests on today. We're going to have different people every week. So we've got Frank the Tank Jankowski, who's fighting this weekend, a number one contender for the Eternal Flyweight Championship of the world. We have Kevin Kophamel, silver medalist in the Worlds, undefeated.
Undefeated. I was like,
undefeated in pro. You've only had one. You've only had one. You've only had one fight.
Undefeated pro.
You've only had one fight, but it is what it is. And then we've got James.
Hello.
James has been training for this for years. He talks everyone's head off. He keeps you back 2 hours every night at the gym when I should be home. And he's very good at jiu-jitsu as well. Brown Sugar.
Yeah. I feel like we've got the A team here at the minute. Hey.
We've got the A team, yeah. It's going to be a bit of glitches, I think, at first when we're first doing it. But I thought we'll get it started and we'll go through it because there's some massive things just happened. We had some good fights last weekend. Obviously, got big fights coming up. We had the UFC as well. So, which one of you guys watched the UFC? I know James didn't.
Yeah, I did. Stayed up. Yeah, it was a good card.
What did you think of the Volk fight?
Yeah, it was quite depressing. Stayed up for, 7 hours. Volk didn't, show up, but yeah, it was a big task.
I think he did show up, but just he was a lot sharper than when he was setting up that head kick. He was going the legs, going the body. It was crazy good.
What do you think, like in terms of the short notice for the fight? Like, do you think that was that came into it? Like, if you had a full camp? Considering he probably can't have a rematch now.
Nah, he won't get a rematch now. But I think, I think a full camp would make a big difference. But because considering the first one, but I was saying to someone the other day, I was thinking when someone's fought for the first time and they have a really even match, sometimes you can take stuff away from it, and then that's why you always get them finishes in the second match because someone sees stuff or the coaches see things and that. And again, without having that full camp as well, I think maybe that made the difference, but it could have happened if you had a full camp as well. We don't know, but it was very disappointing watching it. But Islam is that good, so yeah.
What round was it again? Round 2?
First round.
First round,
It was the first round.
Minutes,
It was in 2 minutes, so yeah.
Yeah, we was setting it up. It was going. You see it going low. It was going to the body, and then it's just remember Valentina when she knocked out that girl? Who did she knock out?
Jessica. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. It was body shot, and she started dropping her hand and just hit him in the head, like full on head kick. It was beautiful. But then even though Volk had his hand here, and then he clipped him on the top of the head. So he had his hand up, but he just went over the top and then clipped him. So it was crazy.
A few of the shots after, back to the head as well. But it was back of the head, like the shots after.
Oh,
but he was out. He was out of it.
He got cut up a bit as well. Volk had a big cut here and one here as well.
You can't comment.
Well, I watched the.
You got to set out this bit.
I watched the highlights. But if it was the first fight was that close, and some people think Volk won it, right? But that's a full camp training for him, and then this time, short notice, and takes a fight without knowing he's going to be planning to fight him again or anything. So it's going to be a lot harder, eh?
A lot of balls, 11 days, and then cutting all that weight. I think it's crazy.
You see all the memes of him, with the wheelbarrow, and his balls are in. He's pushing his balls around in the wheelbarrow, the South Park memes and that.
Yeah, that's my favourite South Park episode.
Yeah, so good.
Medical fried chicken.
Yeah,
gotta give it a shout out.
Is your favourite fighter, right, Volk?
Yeah.
Your favourite athlete, hey? But then what about Rob?
Rob
Whittaker though.
Yeah, it's pretty even because Rob sort of got me and my brother into fighting through the Ultimate Fighter. Just growing up watching him, and then.
But I read your Eternal thing, and it said Alex.
No, it said both of them.
Does it? No, it doesn't.
For athlete, it was Volkanovski. For fighter, it was
really?
Rob.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, I didn't see that bit. Yeah.
Volk's a wicked athlete.
Yeah,
athlete.
Better athlete, and then Whittaker.
I love Rob, man. So good. What thoughts on the whole Duplessis situation?
I think
Dricus Duplessis.
He's not coming anywhere near the top.
You reckon?
I don't
I'm saying South African boys. I'm telling
you. No. I reckon he would. I think he could
different.
he could win. Yeah. The thing, but they just put him back now. So he's back of the queue. I think.
I reckon maybe it would be him versus Chimaev, maybe number 1.
You reckon? I definitely think future Duplessis champion. Definitely.
Yeah, but Sean Strickland's fighting against Hazmat. Yeah.
How's that Philly defense?
I know.
The Philly shell.
Philly shell, yeah.
Yeah, but when I was over in Vegas just before, and I was at the Extreme Couture. Like, you see that the way that they train all the guys over there, it's like pretty.
Go hard.
It's pretty. Yeah, go really hard. Yeah.
But they trained together before.
Who was?
Chimaev and Sean Strickland.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
That's just like Ian Gary. He's got a fight. I think the next pay per view against Vince Luque.
Yeah.
And then they've been like training partners.
Oh, right.
Now they're matched to fight each other. So.
But then if you watch the Usman fight, the one today, when he was backing him up, that's when he was doing the best shots. So then what does Sean Strickland do? Just backs people up, you know what I mean? He doesn't take backwards. Whether he can stop the takedown, I don't know. I don't know what his wrestling's like, but everyone seems to think it's really good jiu-jitsu and good wrestling, so I don't know.
Yeah. He really does just fight, doesn't he? Hey?
Yeah.
I feel like, just like not super technical, but just at the end of the day, good at actually fighting. Like,
Gritty, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. He's got a really good jab. He's underrated, like he's boxing.
Yeah. Because he didn't throw, how many kicks did he throw in the Izzy fight?
I'm not sure.
I think, wasn't it like
a few, just a lot of tapes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was
he'll
like
just
really
use
low.
that distance for that tape, and then just basic hands,
just boxing.
keep
for
that
like the whole
fundamental jab.
Yeah,
He kept backing him up the whole time. Like some people just don't work well on the back foot. Some people are better counter strikers. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it did really well. I thought. What did you think of the Walker fight?
Today. I was kind of
Bit of a shit show.
That was
like
100% a deliberate knee to the
Yeah.
head. Like when you watched it in slow mo, it wasn't like I missed his body and then hit him in the head. Like he proper went for his head, and I thought, maybe he's gonna get DQ, but there was no contest. So
like, it was definitely an illegal shot. But what about like what Walker said? I feel like when the doctor asked him, he definitely like took ages to reply. Like he was.
He did look a little bit. Yeah,
he played a little bit.
It sort of seemed like they didn't really understand each other. Like the doctor didn't understand Walker, and Walker didn't understand him. So the doctor sort of called it, and then Walker didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
and then sort of like had an outburst of like.
You got a bit of a language barrier and stuff, and you're in you've just flown to like a completely different country. You know, it's not like going, where are you right now? And you go, I'm in Perth. Like, it's like, hold on, where am I? Like, am I in the cage? Am I in the arena? Or I'm in another country? Like, what answer do they want? And then you're in the middle of a fight, so it's a bit, you know.
I don't know about that as well. Like the questions that they ask you, like I feel like I think the doctor asked him what round was he in, or something like that. But I don't know if I ever got asked something like that in a fight, I wouldn't be able to tell you what round I was in. I don't know.
I've had some Muay Thai fights before where it's 5 rounds, and I've gone to my coach, what round is it? Is it round 3? And he's going, no, it's round 5, and I'm like, I just forget what round it is.
Yeah, like I mean, you are getting hit in the head like repeatedly, but then also. I know you're focusing on so much, like obviously the fight in front of you, like maybe what you're doing, like if you're like, I need to like watch the gas tank and stuff, and then things about like where you are, or the arena and stuff. Well, I feel like
you can even lose count of the rounds when you're cornering, can't you, Kev?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that happened to me over in Melbourne for Ryan's fight. I thought there was like an extra round left, and I bring the stool in.
6 rounds.
Yeah, a 5-round fight, and I managed to actually like for the last so when the fight finished, I brought the stool in and I ran into the cage with the stool, and I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell him this, tell him this, tell him that, and then I get in, and next thing like everyone else starts like filling in the cage. I'm like, oh wait, what? Like the fight's over. I was like, oh, that's really embarrassing, you know, because like the other team didn't bring in the stool or anything. But look, we got the win.
Maybe just look fatigued. You just want him to sit down.
Maybe. But I think it was hard. Like I had a lot of jobs at the same time. I have a lot of respect for you now, considering all the.
It's not easy, and you bought like a bum bag, fanny pack.
I do. I now have, especially for this. Yeah,
after mocking me for so many years with my patented one.
I will defend though. I will say I think mine's cooler than yours.
I would say that.
Yeah, because like
yours got your name on it. So.
Nah, so no, yours does say throat jab. Was it Steve Throat Jab Walter? Yeah. So I was like, look, I can't get the same as yours, but I gotta get a cool one so I can have for future fights.
Yeah.
But mine's got like a cross satchel as well, so I can like wear it this way.
Or so you can wear it when you go to like dance festivals as well.
Yeah, no, see, that's the thing. They asked me that, like, like for a festival or something. I was like, I'm not even gonna explain that this is actually like because I coach an MMA fighter. I was just like, yeah. But no, it's good.
So how did you find your first experience coaching by yourself?
It was really stressful. Like I was trying to just make a good environment or atmosphere for Ryan, but like trying to be like.
So I just explain it. People don't know. Frank's brother Ryan, on 5 days' notice, went over, competed on Path to Hex, and did a 5-round fight without a camp, and didn't look like he gassed at all. I even said to him, I said, "Were you gassed?" And he goes, "No, I could have went a bit harder." I was like, "What?" And like, it was like really fascinating, and he won like the Path to Hex title. So
Kev wanted him to go another round. Let's be fair. So he was like, "Come on, mate, let's go. 6th round, we're going."
So it's pretty impressive. And Kev was first time like he's ever coached by himself, really. So
no, it was really good. Like Ryan did so well, obviously, because like how many days notice was it? 5 days notice. And then you called me and you're saying, "Oh, well, like, will you go over and coach him in Melbourne?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." Went over, but then I've never even been to like Melbourne before, so that was new for me. But then also just the whole kind of like getting flights over, getting like brought to the accommodation or the weigh-ins, all of that being taken care of, like for you.
They're pretty good with them. Some of them don't do that.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, because I hadn't experienced that before, so that was kind of cool. Got chauffeured around a little bit, but I think just trying to make sure, like I said, that Ryan was doing good, and because he took it on 5 days' notice, it was like. It wasn't heaps of like game plan that we had done in training leading up to it. So it was kind of like I just wanted to try and like hype him up for it and get him like in a good like mindset before he fought. But he did fight of the night. Fight of the night.
But he said to me, he was really impressed with your coaching. So
really?
Yeah. He said he almost as good as Steve.
Almost. Yeah. I got two compliments on my hand wraps though. So that's like 2 in the books. That's competition for you,
Yeah, it's real impressive how he won like in the later rounds compared to like the earlier rounds with like 5 days notice, you know. Usually like most of the time you'd win like the early rounds. But he conserved himself and then
I was so impressed. The first round when he got caught with the anaconda, was it Das? I can't remember which
anaconda,
And then I was like, it's going to be easy. Like, it was so tight. And I thought this was going to be like such a early night. And then he got out of it because I was at the Muay Thai Grand Prix weigh-ins with Ashby, and I was on my way back, and I'm like, I've got it on my phone. I've got it next to me, and then I'll drive home. I get on really quick. I'll watch the fight at home, and then I heard on the thing saying Ryan Jankowski. Went, shit. So then I pretended to Leaderville car park, and I parked up there. I'm just like looking. I swear I thought I was in the corner. I'm screaming at him like that. I'm screaming like that. I'm going crazy like on the thing, and then people are looking at me driving past and that. But I was so excited.
Invested,
I was so excited when he won. I was like, oh man, that was crazy good. Because like, Ryan's like that's 4 in a row now for Ryan.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah,
and he's found his groove now. You know.
Yeah, unify that title. And Feb, and then and go pro. Yeah.
Were you stressing like with the commission signing off the hand wraps? Were you sitting there like?
No, I was actually pretty good. I think it was more nerve-wracking when I did it with Steve. So like, because Steve got me to wrap his hands.
That was at the gym, I
swear down, I full on was like, because Steve got me to wrap his hands just to go through everything. And as I was doing it, my hands were full on shaking, like wrapping his hands. And then every now and then I'd like go to put the tape somewhere and I'd look up and he'd just be there. I could see he's about to say something like nitpick. So I was like, I gotta be careful. But when I did it with Ryan, I had like heaps of time. I did it like
that's best.
with heaps of fights like before. And as I was doing them, I had like an official walk over and the official was like, looking at the raps, and I was like, like, what are they going to say? They're like, they're perfect. They're really good raps. And then when he got them signed off, same thing. The official was like, these raps are perfect. So that's like 2 compliments now. So it's
good. Getting up there. When Cameron Armstrong rapped Olden's for his last fight, he was just like, sitting there just like full focus rapping, you know, and then the commission comes in to sign him off, and you can just see Cam, and then he's like, yeah, cool. And signs them off, and you can just see their relief, like, thank God, you know, like,
first time when you do it back in the day, it's like, am I doing it right? And then it's like it's become second nature. Yeah. What was it like for you coaching when you coached Alden's fight? Because I was away in New Zealand,
cornering Alden. It was good. It was like I think they said there was 2,500 people at that Eternal in Perth, and so like. Yeah, walking out there like with all the crowd, and then getting to be like right on the cage and everything. Yeah, it was pretty good. But I mean, I was like waiting for it to. I thought because it was Stu, wasn't it, that he went against? Yeah, and he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so I thought he might look to take it to the ground. And like after Olden sort of connected with him a few times. You could see, I thought Stu got him down, and I thought he's going to try and keep him down now. He doesn't want to stand with Olden. And I was like, now's my time to shine. Let's go, jiu-jitsu coach. And the boys are like, James, go. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, stiff arm, and then Alden just like gets up, and I'm like, well, that's it, my job's done. Like it was like 2 seconds. I like yelled out 2 things, and he was back to his feet.
Got up. So
I know. I was like, oh cool, and I sit back, and I was all happy. So, but yeah, I didn't get to do much, and then Alden basically finished it. So it was over. But it was cool.
Stressful, all right.
Yeah, being out the back in the room, that's pretty stressful because you just like watching Alden get into the right mindset and the headspace, and you just kind of like, oh, what should I be doing here? Like, you don't want to do too much, you don't want to do nothing. So, but also Joe Lopez was there, so Volkanovski's coach, and so that was cool. I sat and spoke to him. We talked jiu-jitsu for like 45 minutes because like even watching them, like, so you see Joe Lopez was there for.
Van Heerden, Justin Van Heerden.
Van Heerden. So Van Heerden.
He's a main event,
And Van Heerden and Lopez, like, they're just sitting opposite each other, just on their phones, like, just doing nothing, just chilling, like, before their fight. And so I just, like, saw Joe sitting there, so I just, like, gotta have a chat. So I went over there, caught him. He got unlucky, and I spoke to him for, like, 45 minutes while Cam was wrapping Alden's hands and that. So, it was good getting to have that experience. But even before that at Battlegrounds, because that was like probably like the first time I'd cornered something like quite major. So I cornered James Wong and Sam, and even being there, because like Stephen Ersig's there, so you got like a UFC fighter out the back, and then there was also they'd flown in like world champions and to compete, like Nora Naomi was there, and Levi Leary Jones, and so there's like all these like real high level jiu-jitsu people, and you're out the back, and then I'm just like looking at them all, and then you got to start warming up. I got to start warming up Sam, and everybody's just sitting there like in this tiny room, just staring at you while you're on the mats doing the warm ups, and then you just feel like so vulnerable. You're like, should I be here? Am I doing the right things? But after a few times, it's like that was a good question I've got, is like whether you feel there's a difference between coaching and cornering. Like, I feel like there's a difference between coaching and cornering.
Massive difference. Yeah, cornering's like so different from coaching. Like, when you are coaching your fighter in there, but you've got so many other things to think about, because you're looking after their safety. You want them to do well, you want them to do good, and it's just like so much to think about. So just it can be quite stressful. You know what I mean? Try not to show the stress, but
I mean, I was like more like, so when you're coaching a class or whatever, or you're coaching people in the class, you've got multiple people, and you're fixing stuff, you're telling them stuff. But then when it comes to, say, because some people would say, like, even SGT or like a local jiu-jitsu comp or something, and you're in the corner coaching your guy or girl, but it's like, is that, I kind of don't call that coaching anymore. Like, I feel like that's cornering. You're cornering this athlete.
It's cornering,
and it's different because, you might say way more in the class. Now in the corner you say like maybe way less, or it's like a minimal, or it's like it's got to get through. So it's like it's like two different skill sets in a way. Like, I feel like some people might be able to coach really good, but might not be able to transfer it to cornering.
We had this discussion before about certain people, who were cornering, and there's like no one here.
I was going to say,
but certainly a cornering that it doesn't matter who it was, but basically, especially at a jiu-jitsu comp, they're just cornering to let people know what they know. It's not actually for the person. So say Frankie's like rolling and he's doing whatever, they're going, oh, do this, omoplata, jumping over here, and they're shouting all this crap out. And even like I'm trying to keep up with what this person's saying, but they're not doing it for that. They're doing it so people can hear what they say. You can tell that's what it's for. It's not for him. It's for them. When really, if you just say basic, take your left hand and put it under here. Get that right hand under your right hand underhook, do basic shit. And I just hate when people do that, and you see like they're trying to show like, look how much knowledge I know. We had this discussion before because there's certain people who were like, oh, you shouldn't be cornering, I
was gonna say, it is a little bit of like an ego thing, like, do you know what I mean? Because obviously, are you like at that point, are you really like actually helping your fighter or your athlete? And it sounds stupid, but even like I've been in competition when you've been shouting like those super simple things, like, and you feel stupid when you hear it. It's like, with your right hand, and then you like take a few seconds, you're like, okay, left, right, there's no hand. It's like, grab his wrist, and you're like, oh, okay, here, and then you're like, the other wrist, and you're like, oh, okay, and then, but then step by step you start getting out, and you like build yourself back up. But then, you have that frustration sometimes when you like, if you just call things and you're using like all the technical words, or just like go for whatever, you know, and the guy doesn't understand what you're calling. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to sit there and like not know what to do. But
It's got to be super basic. I mean, the amount of times I'm shouting out with you guys, even like Frank, I'll shout out, okay, breathe, and you forget to breathe.
Yeah,
and then you're really going, relax. Okay, footwork, move your feet. Like, and then, like, oh shit, yeah, I'm not moving now. I'm standing still because it's so stressful. Like, you're thinking about so many things at once, and that your brain's just overloaded. So you just got to shout basic stuff out. Anything too complicated, like. No,
it's good with you in between rounds. You say something simple, and then in the round, in the fight, like I'll just like think of that thing.
Yeah, just one or two. But when I first started, when I first started cornering, like back in the day, like years ago, I'd say too much.
Yeah,
and I'd realise I was confusing the person. I'd go, okay, what are you doing? You got to work that jab on, but then you got your low kick as well. But also that single leg, you got to. And then people were like, oh shit, I can't remember any of that. And then now it's like maybe two things.
Yeah,
you know, like okay, calm you down first. Okay. You got to do this and this because he's doing this. And then sometimes I'll say to you, okay, say it back to me. Okay, I want you to do that. So you understand wicked. And then it's to try and do that. And you might not be able to do it, but at least you understand what I want you to try and do. Because otherwise it's something so complex, it's so stressful. Isn't it?
Over saying stuff sort of like gets to their head. Like,
yeah, it's too much.
Well, you're in the middle of a fight, getting punched,
It's like crazy.
It's got to be so, like the calming down thing is like, it's that's huge, isn't it? Because sometimes, you know, you go into a fight or whatever, and it's like if the other guy comes with that energy, that high energy, going like berserker mode, and then it sucks you into that, and then you match that where that might not be your style, and then all of a sudden now you're just going like crazy, and it's like if the coach tells you to like calm down, and then you take that on board and go, okay, like I remember Nicky. His first jiu-jitsu comp, his first match, it was like this guy just came out like a tornado, and so it's just going nuts. And it's like instead of saying any techniques or anything, I was just like, calm down, Nicky, calm down, like just because he was just straight away matching his energy, and it's like making him just go. It's like because that person's doing that doesn't mean you have to do that, you know. Like
that's like last fight with Ren.
Like
I was saying that she's going to come hard, she's going to come fast.
And
like it was only her first fight, so I could see she's all smiley and like she goes, oh yeah, no,
innocent.
No. I said, I don't think you understand. Like, no, she's gonna come like really fast. She's gonna be ready, and she's like, yeah. And then after the first time, she's like, what the fuck?
I think that's the same for like everyone.
It is everyone. I'm saying it happens a lot. All the time. You don't understand that I've seen this person fight. They're gonna come 1,000 miles an hour, and you've got to be switched on ready for that. But also, some people like it's just like mirroring, you know. I mean, they try to mirror that intensity.
The same energy, What how do you go with like obviously being like such an experienced coach? You understand that like no matter how much people say, oh yeah, no, I'm ready, or like no, this is what I'm gonna do. Like there's gonna be a point of like realization in the fight when someone like goes for you just full tilt. What like how do you speak to people in between rounds? Considering like people obviously have different ways of like receiving what you say. Like if you want to calm someone down. Sometimes, like being that really calm, like atmosphere is like really helpful. Other people, you kind of need to like
sometimes
shock calm as well.
Like I've had to give them a slap, you know, like like really get them going again because like they're just too chill. They're totally not there. They're looking around like the audience and they're going. I said, listen to what I'm saying. They're totally not listening to me. It doesn't happen that often, but like you got to get them focused again, and you got to do something to startle them straight away back into it. But it can be difficult.
Because you've asked me really strange questions before that I remember like specifically have like taken me out of.
No, that's the I'm trying to like make you like switch out of your mindset. So that I've asked you a question. What I remember asking that one, I was like going. What we're fighting here?
You asked me if I knew I was in an MMA fight.
No, I said to you, I said, oh, what style we're fighting, and you just because you were like all like like crazy, and then you just went MMA, and I was like, do you know you can kick and you grapple in this as well? And you were like, I said, well, if you do all that, you'll win this fight. And then you won the next round.
Full on. I remember having this realization of like, oh, I'm actually allowed to kick.
You're just so focused on something, so you got to like take them out of that thing. And sometimes like, you just got to say something like stupid, so they go, what kind of question's that? And you go, well, this is it. Oh shit. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing, you know.
Same one when I got head kicked in the face. And then he asked me, it was so funny because the whole fight camp he was saying, you need to keep your right hand up, And I was like, kind of brushing it off all the time. And then I was in the fight, guy's throwing a head kick. I've dropped my right hand. I've gotten like rocked into the cage. And I've had a really stressful round, but then I sit on the stool and then, Steve asks me, he's like, what happened? I was like, oh, I got kicked in the face. He's like, do you know why that happened? And I was like looking at him so innocent, like, oh, I'm not too sure. Like, what was it? And just shouted to me, he's like, because you dropped your fucking right hand. I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. But
the next round,
never
you glued
dropped
on
since.
your
I was going
head.
to say glued after that. Yeah.
Don't say it for no reason, you know what I mean? That's cool.
That's like that's another like thing that really like gets on my nerves is like even coaching like just small jiu-jitsu comps, white belt comps, doesn't matter. But it's like you might have multiple, or you might have like one coach in the corner or multiple coaches, and then you've got like the other guys that are competing and stuff, and you end up with like all these people in the corner. One person's like competing, and just the coach, like who's doing the talking. I mean, even like cage side in an MMA fight, it's the same thing, right? So, but it's like if Steve's there, well, I say nothing. Like, just let Steve talk. Unless
but if you were there if you were there and you're doing it, I'll just come and I'll just like...
Then Steve sits
try
back.
and show what you're doing, you know, like, because it's just too confusing.
And then, if Steve's already there, like, obviously, way more knowledge than me, so I just sit there quietly. But then if I know that person, or I coach that person quite a lot, or they get to a position that I know where, like Steve, you know, he'll sort of be like, what's he going for? And I'll be like, oh, he's doing this, like I just showed him this, so then I'll take over and Steve goes quiet.
Yeah, because last time I said to you, you're doing PTs and what's his move, what's he's got, and you go, oh, cool, and then like, go to that, you know, that sort of angle.
But like in that last comp with Nicky and Ben, so Ben's in their first comp ever, and he's in an armbar. So this is another thing where it's like different thing between like coaching and cornering. I think cornering is so it's like he's in an armbar. And the time's running down. Like I think there was like 15 seconds left on the clock, right? Yeah. But I'd say there's 15 seconds left. Whether he taps or not, it's not up to me. I don't know like how much pressure he's in, if he can escape. So I just say there's 15 seconds. Then that person can make a decision whether they're going to tap or not. Yeah. And then Nicky's behind me, like no, just funny. Like he's competing and stuff. So he's a white belt. Ben's a white belt. Nicky's behind me going, don't tap, don't tap. And I'm like, I want to yell out tap, but I'll never tell someone to tap, and I'll never tell someone to not tap. I just tell the time. Yeah. And Ben's arm is like bent like backwards, and I was just like, we're going to hospital. We're about to go to hospital. Yeah. And then Nicky's like, don't. And so I see his hand coming to tap, and he goes, don't tap. And then he just takes his hand away, and I'm like, oh. And then it comes back again to tap. Like, it's that bad. All these veins in his arms. And Nicky's like, don't tap. And then he takes his hand away, and I was like, oh, it's going to break. I'm about to watch his arm get broken for, like, a local
jiu-jitsu comp.
Yeah. Where he's not going to tap.
And then I think the guy putting on the armbar must have just... You know, he's let it, whatever's happened, but Ben's actually got out. So it goes to a draw because it's submission only. So it goes to the draw, and then Ben just walks straight over to me, and he's like, you nearly got my arm broken. You nearly got my arm broken. I'm like, it wasn't me. It was Nicky. And Nicky's like, my bad, sorry. My bad. Walks up, and I said to Nicky, so I grabbed Nicky, and I go, man, you better go out in your shield later, because he hadn't competed yet. I was like, if you go into a match, I was like, I don't want to see you tap.
Yeah,
like,
no one's tapping for you.
I'm joking, but I was like, you would have been driving him to hospital right now. I was like, I don't want to see you tap. Anyway, fast forward to later on, and he's competing, and the dude gets a baseball bat choke on him from the bottom, and Nicky's on top, so in the gi, and then Nicky like sort of steps over, and then Steve was cornering him. I was like back behind the desk, and then he goes over, and then he's just like. Nicky's like out cold, just snoring, and then I'm just like laughing, like I was just sort of was like Steve's there, Nash, the refs got his opponent to grab his legs, so his opponent's grabbed his legs, and I thought, you never know what someone's going to do when they wake up. I thought he's going to wake up and see his opponent over him and then like go berserk, but he's just like full snoring, and then he wakes up, he's just like looking around like, what happened? Yeah,
and then he went out on a shield.
He goes, I tapped, and Steve's like, you didn't tap, and I was like, good boy, like, at least you like, you know.
So I reckon with like arm bars and knee bars tap, but like with a rear naked, In a jiu-jitsu comp, in an MMA fight, you can go out in your shield because, you know, you're just going to get put to sleep. Nothing too bad. Yeah. But with the armbar, you're out for like a good 6 to 3 months. You can't train, can't have a fight, and
especially with your knees, like.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was even
heel
like heel
hooks.
hooks.
All right, then, Frank, you got a massive fight coming up. What are your thoughts about that massive fight for the flyweight title, Eternal?
I'm excited. It's been a long 12 weeks. A lot of hard work, a lot of conditioning, running. Yeah, just ready to go out there. All the hard work's done now, so, yeah.
Well, maybe a couple more days, but yeah.
I was going to say, how many times have you been running a week? Because you've been running like a little bit more.
Yeah, about 4 to 5. That's what fight is, and then also about 3 times at home.
Yeah, do you run, what distance you run?
Depends. Usually about a 4 to a 5. Sometimes a 3, but then that's a good push, good pace.
It's definitely good. I feel like even seeing you in the gym, like you've been going on heaps of runs, but like conditioning wise on the pads and stuff, and like in training, got like good gas tank. Like it's really really decent. Like, do you feel like you got good energy like this camp?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just ready to go in there. 5 rounds. Yeah. Ready for the 5-5s.
That's so sick.
I've seen you've been focusing more on doing your katas and karate a lot for this camp. So, what made you think about doing that?
You know, just mix it up. You know, it's gonna be unexpected. You ain't gonna expect I'm gonna come in there, throw some weird stuff.
What's the game plan gonna be for the fight? What are you gonna do in the fight?
You know, a lot of boxing. You know, use my feet in and out.
Nice. Sumo stance.
Yeah.
Come in there, sumo stance, stomp the feet.
A lot of foot stomps.
Yeah. Imanari rolls,
Foot stomps is underutilized, so I think that's the one to use. Yeah.
I actually think that's decent. Like I really like. Do you know when you get pressure against the cage, like it's like cage control, and then you like knee to the legs, back of the legs, and then foot stomps. I think they're like really underrated.
Back of the hamstring is like you can take a couple of them.
There's like run. It's like a proper corky to the leg. Like you get that back position, like pressure them into the cage, and then just knees to the backs of the hamstrings into the legs. You take a couple of them, I feel like your legs will be like so concrete after that. Then you go back to striking.
Yeah, definitely.
I think knee to the calf, you know.
I don't know if you do a whole camp on it, but
no, but I still think it's good. Like a lot of people like they give.
How would you practice the knee stomps, like just on breaking wood blocks and stuff? And
usually bamboo trees. I was gonna say if not, then like really old brick buildings. And then just just condition the inner thigh. Yeah. And then hit some like pavement bricks as well with my palms as well. So I get really good at like the slaps in guard as well.
Nice. So, it's really cool. Yeah. Take note, people. These are the real way to train. So we've got like yourself on the Eternal, and we've got Luke, and we've got Harvey as well. So Harvey's making his debut, and Luke's had one fight really before that. So it's gonna be a good card in the prelims, and then you're gonna co-main event on the actual fight. So it's gonna be a big
people's real main event, you could say.
People's main event.
Well, you're going to have a lot of people coming to watch you this time, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'd say the most, biggest support, I'd say.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
It will be...
Most of the time.
Hey?
Most of the time when I fight,
Yeah.
Goes off.
The Frank the Tank screams.
That makes me think, when are the supporter t-shirts coming in? The Frank the Tank supporter tees?
Not too sure. Hopefully tomorrow. Or this week, My mate was asking me, actually, but...
Are they still up on... Are they going to be up on Vex?
No.
Or are they all pre-ordered and stuff? Hey?
Yeah, they're only pre-ordered, and heaps of people keep asking me, like, can you still get them? I was like, no.
Yeah, it's going to be a limited edition now. Hey, have you got yours? You got yours, Steve?
I'm getting my corner one. Louis said it was going to be here by now, so sort it out, mate.
So you've got a big tank on the front of it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've got one as well. I'm going to get my one for the corner.
Yeah, I think the one I've got is your upper body and then just a tank down here. It's a bit disturbing.
Who's in the corner for Eternal?
We've got a few in the corner. So
switching.
Switching around. So we've got a few backstage. But Kev will be in the corner. Myself, Courtney. What's in the corner? Cameron.
And Ryan.
Yeah. Ryan in the corner. Yeah, so they've got 5 in the back. So
was Luke's first fight the Gamma?
No.
Melbourne. No, he had one in Melbourne. One in Melbourne where he knocked the guy out.
Yeah. Okay.
Round 2.
Round 2, yeah, it was a good fight, that one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be a good fight because the lad who's going against likes to box, so that'll be a good matchup. Harvey's guy I don't know much about, and I've seen him do jiu-jitsu, but that'll be killer because Harvey's keeping up with you with the runs, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a
Harvey's. Yeah, I reckon we get a finish. Second round TKO. Mark my words.
It's not for the bets. Can you bet on these ones?
No.
No.
Just a gym bet.
Hey,
I was gonna say, is that you can bet on the pro fights?
No, not anymore. Back in the day, you could for Neds and Ladbrokes, I think.
Yeah. So I remember we could bet on your fight, and I remember a couple of people bet on my last fight as well. And I was like,
you were paying like $3.80, and that was easy money.
I lost heaps of money.
You lost heaps of money. What? I was gonna say the amount of people that said to me, they made so much money.
Your leg kicks, but like,
oh yeah,
I had a first round stoppage on there.
I had people like send me. Actually, no, it's even Ren. Ren didn't tell me that she was gonna like put a bet on me. But yeah, I was paying something like really, really good at the start.
$3.80, and then
chucked
like 100 on it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but then you went down a bit. I think like $2.50.
I was gonna say as the rounds went on and stuff. Yeah.
I think they stopped because they would have lost so much money. Like people just winning.
You're winning off me. Yeah.
Was that Kev's last fight?
No, he's pro debut. Last year.
The last one, I tried to get on to, and so they weren't doing it anymore then. Like,
what, in New Zealand? That one? No.
Eternal.
Yeah,
last Eternal, yeah.
When I fought half, I was paying $1.40, and then, a few of my mates did Maldies, but then, because the main event, Jack Becker broke his, tibia or whatever, and then, a few of them lost.
1,000 people sent me that video. I was like,
it's good. He came back. Like he competed in a jiu-jitsu invitational, won that, and then
he's fighting.
And then he fought in Eternal, but he lost that one. But it's good.
I think it was a good fight. I think. Yeah. Because I hate anyone the legs broke, and I hate anyone send me them videos.
I remember I was looking at the crowd as soon as it happened. The whole crowd just left. Like the sound of that. Yeah.
It was silent as well. Like rotten, absolutely rotten. He's such bad injury.
What do you reckon your hardest fight's been, Frank?
I've had a few. I'd say that last fight against Matty Gibson was quite tough.
Oh, that was a tough one, yeah.
And then also Harv Mohar. But both those fights had like a big adrenaline dump where couldn't even feel your legs burn out. And so a lot of mental just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Did you get that adrenaline dump like straight away? Like sort of first touch gloves? Or?
Not really. I'd say as soon as I sat down after the first round, I was like, basically, my legs are burnt out.
So not sitting down for you.
Happened to Ryan as well for his first fight, I think. First couple ones.
It's a hard one to deal with. I mean, obviously, Caleb fought on the weekend, and like a very technical guys, young lad, only a young 16-year-old, very good in the gym. And then you just seen as soon as he went adrenaline, he was switched off. Like he totally it doesn't represent how good he is.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
As soon as you get used to that adrenaline, but it can happen anytime during your career. Like you get it for whatever reason.
Yeah, but the more fights, then the more you deal with it better. I would say.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
Emotions.
Yeah, that adrenaline dump just like kills you, like because you know what you got to do and everything, and you're just like, and you know what's happened.
Yeah,
and you just can't. It's like you just can't like get. You feel like heavy and slow. Like when I had my Battlegrounds comp, so that's the biggest thing I've done. And it's like walking out there, everybody's paid money, they're sitting in the seating, they're watching you, got the lights, and you're the only people out there on the stage. And I thought, I'm going to have the worst adrenaline. And so you try and prepare for it, like you know it's coming. And that was the best I've ever felt. Like I didn't even like get in it, just like a tiny little one just to get you going. And I was like, that was like quite nice, because it's like, if you get it, it can like just like hamper you so bad. Like when I had my judo comp next door in a little local judo comp in the gym, I had way worse adrenaline dump for that than the bigger thing. So it's like
that's because we all turned up at the door.
Yeah. But I think like it's like you said, it's just the more you sort of do it, you can like get it's
deal
coming.
with it better.
Like, you're gonna like have some anxiety. Like do you guys still get like anxiety and fear and stuff coming up to the fight, or are you always like excited just and ready to go sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, leading up to a fight, a lot of emotions, but when you get in there, it just sort of like goes away.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I definitely like heaps of nerves, like heaps of butterflies. I feel like all of that is like so normal to experience. I feel like it would be weird if you weren't getting any of that before you're meant to have a fight or anything. But I think, like Frank was saying, once you actually kind of like step in, or at least for me, it's from like the glove touch. So as soon as like, okay, like fight, then it's just kind of like, autopilot or like fight or flight. And then you're just, things are happening there. So then it kind of like less like insecurities or thoughts. But then, you kind of go back into that when you go back to the like stool or something in between rounds, that's when you kind of like assess it a little bit. But then I feel like same thing. You come out like into the second round, then just out the window again. It's just like you're back in the zone. You know?
But it's like it doesn't make any sense because like the whole process is that all the time up to the fight, nothing's gonna actually hurt you, and you're thinking about what if this happens, what if that happens, what if I do this, what if I look bad, blah blah blah. And then when you're in the fight, when actually you could get hurt or you could look a certain way, when you should be nervous, you're not. But as soon as that punch is thrown, you lose it all. So it just doesn't make any sense. When you think about it rationally, but you can't do it beforehand. Like you just got to try and control it as best you can.
Yeah, for me, the fight sort of like goes quick. Like there's not much thought, but then in like say for like a little bit of a second in a round, it will have like a bird's eye view of myself. Like you're in a fight, like I'm looking at the cage around. Yeah, it's weird. And it's like, oh wait, I'm in a fight now. I have to like zone in. It's weird. Yeah.
It's such a real experience, isn't it? Like it's so strange how like all those things happen. But then also, like it's so fast. But then like you can have those moments that feel like really slow. Like you can like see yourself and you're like, oh, I'm in a fight right now. Like, should I throw something? Shouldn't I throw something? What should I do? And you're kind of like thinking all these things. Yeah. But then then it just like starts happening again. Like it's pretty mad. Hey.
Well, that's like when it comes to say 5-5s or 3-3s or 3-5s. Yeah. Like whatever it is. It's like, do you guys do you pay much attention to that? Did you go, oh my God, I've got to do a 5-5, like it's so much extra. Do you think about that much? Does it like play into it much, or you just sort of go, I just need to be able to like my cardio needs to be out, like my gas tank needs to be able to last longer, or you?
Yeah, you have to work on the conditioning to go the 5-5s. Train do the sparring 5-5s, do the spiders. And then, like, in a fight, like, in a few of my fights, I'd be on top, like, on the ground, and then, like, be looking at the clock. But then it's sort of like probably not the best to look at the clock unless like, I
was going to say, I think like, obviously you try to prepare yourself for it. Like personally, I don't really like planning too much about like the fight or like what I think's going to happen or anything. But for me, if the bell goes and I've like finished a 5-round fight and I feel like I could have like given more, I had more energy, that would really kill me because I'd be like, oh, I didn't like leave it all out there if I had more to give. So I like to kind of like prepare so that I can go like full tilt if needs be for that whole time. And then if I actually feel pretty spent like within the fight, I actually think that's a good thing because like think about how many times we push for like spider sessions and we get pushed like so much further than what you would in a fight. So I feel like because you do all that in prep, that when you're in the fight, if you do feel like something along those lines, rather than having like, oh, I should kind of like conserve my energy, like actually give it all because you've done all that prep. That's where like all the 5-5s come in on like pads and everything and training all your runs and that.
That's why I think like conditioning gives you confidence. Like so, like that's what I'm saying. The one thing we can control is how fit you guys are. So if we can get you as fit as possible, which you guys are always like we're known to be super fit every time we go into a fight, then we don't have to worry about our conserving energy, or I'm going to take this round off, I'm going to go easy this round. You're going to recover faster. So even if you're fatigued at the end of one round, you're going to become, after that minute, you're like, right, I'm ready to go. Yeah. So it gives you so much confidence. That's one thing you can control. You can't control how good the other person is, but you can control how fit you are.
Yeah, I was going to say, and there's like a real big emphasis on like the kind of conditioning and stuff in Wolves then, hey.
Yeah,
like the strength and conditioning. Who's the strength and conditioning coach?
I think it's a bit of a superpower.
It's Renee.
Yeah.
Is Renee the strength and conditioning?
No, who's Renee's partner?
I can't remember.
Really handsome young guy, like
right?
MMA fighter. It's like he's like undefeated as well.
Brian Kophamel.
Brian no. Where's Brian coming from? No, but straight up, I think S&C classes like touching on the spider sessions, the ones that you implemented, they absolutely suck. But like ever since we really started bringing them in, like the spider, I think like it's so good for your conditioning for the fights. Yeah, doing all your sprints and stuff. I have a question though. For Joe, you're chatting about like adrenaline dumps, and you're saying like lactic buildup. Why bring the stool in for the in between rounds? Because I've had fights where you haven't brought the stool in for me.
Yeah, because I didn't want you sitting down.
Yeah, talk me through that.
Hey.
Talk me through that. Like, why can Frank sit down, but I can't sit down?
No.
I've also had a fight where, Steve didn't bring the stool in, or I just stood for the
I think sometimes, like, when you're watching how the fight's going, and I think if you sit down, I think it makes your legs a lot worse. I think from experience of the fights I've had, I sat down, I stood back up, like my legs are seized up, whatever. And if you just stand up, I think you have that confidence, and it's easy to get your breath back. But if it's like, say, like someone's in there, and maybe it is like a 5-round fight, or like someone's getting like got rocked or whatever, like then obviously going to bring it in and let them sit down or whatever. If they tell me, can you bring the seat in between? But otherwise, I'm going to make you stand up. And when do you sit down in between sparring sessions? You don't. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, because you're not really mimicking it. Like in the Saturday sparring that we do, in between all the rounds, like I tend to like it's so funny actually what people do in between rounds. Hey, like I like pace. Up and down.
That's what I used to do. I hate when people lay down and stuff. I just stand up, because you're not going to do this in the ring. You're not going to do it in the cage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like trying to not look tired and like pace up and down. Yeah. But then, there has been like fights where I've sat down and same thing. Yeah, your legs are so like
you got to stand up and you're like,
you stand up.
Yeah,
it's almost better. Yeah, to like just walk around
leg kicks and stuff. Yeah, so that's the thought process. But that's just my experience of my own experience. So it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. But I like the guys standing if we can do it. Don't think I'll make you stand in the 5-5s. I don't know. We'll see.
That's if it goes to 5-5s as well, though.
Yeah.
I always wonder about looking at the clock as well. Like whenever you watch the UFC, if like a fighter looks at the clock, they're like, "Oh, he's tired." Straight away, it's like he's tired. He's looked at the clock, because like obviously Steve likes to know the time without having to look at the clock. If he's like head corner, and then it's he can call that out. But if you're in the fight, you might want to know the time. It might not be the point where Steve's calling out the time, and it's like, so if you look at the clock, is it instantly the commentator's like, "Oh, he's tired, he's looking at the clock." But I don't know, for you guys, like when I'm competing in jiu-jitsu, I'll tend to like look at the clock a little bit, just to, I can gauge like how far I've got. Do I need to like push? Like, can I go for this submission or this position? Do you ever look at the clock for like your own game plan? Not just because you're like, "Oh, how long have I got left?" But it seems like whenever you watch like the fights, it's like if a fighter looks at the clock, the commentators just straight away, they're like, "He's tired, he's looking at the clock." But it might be for a different thing. You want to know whether to like, you know, like really push in that bit, or you think you might be able to get something. And
yeah, for me it's funny. I've only ever looked at the clock twice, and it was against the same opponent, Half Moha. So the first ever time they had it at HBF Stadium, I was gassed. I had a massive adrenaline dump. And I was looking at the clock the third round, had him like in the clinch. And then on a rematch as a pro, I had like half guard. I was just controlling the whole fight, and I was just looking at the clock for time while just like, outworking him on the ground. Yeah, so it was weird.
So you weren't. So the first one you were looking at the clock because you're tired.
Yeah, adrenaline dump, gas.
The second one you were looking at the clock because
looking at the time.
You're just like, you've got control. You're just sort of like thinking through. Like,
had him on the ground. I was on top, and I was just seeing how long was left. But then most of my other fights, I've never really looked at the clock. Just
So with that scenario there, like you're in control, and it's like it's a good thing. Like you look at the clock and you go, like, "Cool, sweet, I've got 3 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever." But then if you're like so fatigued, and then you look at the clock and you think there's only a minute left, and you go, "Oh, there's 3.5 minutes left." You're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you can have a mental thing on you, like, "Oh, gee, I thought it was like a minute left or something."
You're touching back to my first, like my AMI debut, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say, because there's a few things here. I was going to say, well, number one...
I don't recall.
You don't recall? I don't recall. There's two things. Like, number one is, like if you have a good, like, cornerman or head coach in the corner that, like, will tell you the accurate time, then it's super effective and beneficial. Because, like,
I feel that was the time when someone told me the wrong time.
Oh, yeah? Who you blaming? Who you blaming?
I don't know if it's the same fight. Was it? I think Carney told me the wrong time.
Yeah, well, I know that I was on the receiving end of this. So I was like...
Just threw Carney under the bus.
I know, I was just going to say...
No, I can't remember if it's the same one, but...
Edit that out, Robin.
Someone told me, and I heard it wrong.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like 30 seconds left, but it wasn't. It was like a minute.
It was ridiculous because I was in like full mount, like ground and pound, and amateur fight. So all the adrenaline dump. Like I remember this fight, I felt my legs like concrete. I was so gassed. Anyways, in ground and pound, just like smashing away, and then I swear down, Steve shouts out like 30 seconds left. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta absolutely like empty the tank here now, go for it. And I just start unloading, and then I swear down, it's the longest 30 seconds of my life. Like, I'm like, this is nuts. Like, I know that obviously.
I do remember then going after 15, I was going,
like a minute.
45 seconds.
Yeah, because it's when you shouted it out a second time. It's what I was like, nah, that's at least 30 seconds. But then you shout, you're like, 45 seconds left. And I was like, wait, what? That makes no sense. Like, thought there was 30. And I was just gassed, yeah. But that time was like really, really funny. And I was like, okay, I understand that cardio definitely needs to be a weapon. But then the only other time I looked at like the clock or anything in a fight was in my last fight against Brad Ramsey.
Yeah.
And I think it was the last round, like third round. I got on top. And like you were saying, just wanted to see like how long was left in the round so I could like control it a little bit. And I remember thinking, oh, like there's maybe like a minute left or something. And then I looked up and it was like, yeah, another 4 minutes left in the round. And I was like, I was on top and I was like, oh wow, okay, just like control, like keep him here. But
yeah, I think that was a full-on fight.
And I do notice like at the gym, like because for jiu-jitsu, like it's like 5 minute rounds. It's always 5 minute rounds with a minute break, and so you get so. Like I can tell 5 minutes when I'm rolling. Like I just know 5 minutes. You know, it's like about you just feel it without looking at the clock. And then for battlegrounds, it's an 8 minute round. And because I had injuries coming into there, I only got to train 2 days for the 3 weeks before. So I never actually got to do any 8 minute rounds. And so everyone was saying to me, like, the jiu-jitsu guys are like, whoa, 8 minutes, how are you going to go 8 minutes? And I was just like, oh, you know, it's just jiu-jitsu, just keep going. Like, I don't know, like, it'll be fine. Like, I said, sometimes you roll for 20 minutes. Like, if you're just with your mates in the gym doing extra rounds, you do a 20-minute round until someone gets a sub. Like, it's fine, like, no big deal. But I did notice that because you're so used to a 5 minutes, you can tell that space of time. And so in that 8 minute round, it would have been outside the 5 minutes that I would have started looking at the clock. But it wasn't because I was tired at all. It was just because I'm trying to gauge, how long have I got left? I need to do more. I've got to work. I need to find. There's still 3 minutes. Like there's plenty of time. Like so, I was looking at the clock, like especially because I could see it there. So it always makes me wonder that, you know, like when that's why I asked that question.
So with that fight, obviously. Towards the end, you're injured, and you can only do like more conditioning and stuff like that. Yeah. Just wondering, what's the use of the mirror? I don't know what
the mirror. It's for form, man. You gotta check your form. You have to have we need bigger mirror. I can
understand like for technique for like shadow boxing and stuff, but it's just when you're doing your bicep curls, I don't understand why you have to place a mirror on a chair to watch yourself do that. I don't know.
It's all for form. It's all for form.
And the kettlebell swings as well.
I like looking at a mirror when I'm like doing weights. Like usually a car reflection in the garage.
Yeah.
But when there's no car, it's like
I think we should have floor to ceiling mirror in the first
floor to ceiling mirrors.
Yeah, in the first gym we had mirrors.
You want ceiling mirrors?
That's what I was saying. Yeah, while you're doing jiu-jitsu, like the ceiling mirrors,
that would be good.
That would be next level, man.
In the first gym we had mirrors. Do you remember when we were next to the CrossFit?
Yeah. We had one.
Oh, well,
one big mirror.
That was my mirror.
No,
had my name on the top.
When I put it at the back, because Sean keeps asking me to put mirrors up.
Oh, does he?
He always asks me.
Yeah, check his form. He just wants to look at his form.
Yeah, so I might put some down the back, but they're quite expensive.
What if they break as well? I feel like they would break easily in an MMA gym, no?
Maybe, but put them behind where the bags are, and then the longer bags wouldn't. It doesn't matter.
As long as
one of the things, but it wouldn't swing.
As long as Steve doesn't look at them, then they won't break.
Yeah.
Very funny. Very funny. So what would you say your hardest fight was, Kev?
Definitely my pro debut against Brad Ramsey. Oh, actually, I was going to say either Brad Ramsey, pro debut, or what was his name? The guy fought in the World Championships in the semi-final.
Oh, I can't remember his name. From Kazakhstan.
From Kazakhstan, yeah. Because
tell them about that experience of fighting in Amsterdam.
All of them, like all the fights. I was going to say
it was pretty good. It was a pretty good experience. Well, it's not a good experience.
Yeah,
bad experience.
Oh no, the whole thing, fantastic experience because obviously like got to fly over to like Amsterdam, which was really cool. Felt like it was pretty professionally run. Obviously, really cool hotel and everything. The fact that we had to make weight over the course of the week as well. So when you have to if you keep winning and getting through, you make weight each day. There was the potential for hydration testing as well. So all those things are like cool experiences for me. But
there's about 500 people fighting.
Yeah.
And different, like, how many countries? 50 countries or something?
It was a lot. Like, it was a big turnout. It was cool seeing all the different countries or different teams. Like, you don't just catch them everywhere. Like, we'd be in the elevators, catch like the Russian team and stuff, like, you know, and then being out eating, and while you're eating like your breakfast at the buffet or whatever, you just kind of look up and you make contact with someone you're fighting, and you're both kind of like eyeing each other out a little bit while you're eating your food and stuff. So it was interesting, that kind of environment. But I think my favorite thing was the fact that you just got like so many different fights. So fought people from different countries, different styles. The first one.
Where was the first one from? That younger lad.
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And he was like really long, and he was like really good at his striking. But then got a takedown on him. Finished him with ground and pound. The second fight was the second day, and that was a Dutch kickboxer.
He's a glory kickboxer, and he's from Mike's gym, which is a really good gym. Like it's by the Harry's gym over there.
Yeah. That was a good fight as well. That went into the second round. Kind of similar thing, like bit of striking. I took him down in the first round, but he took me down following that. But I think I just got the upper hand in the grappling and like ground and pound strikes. But it was definitely the semi-final. I think was probably my hardest fight, because that went the distance, and just that was the most exciting fight I think I've ever been in. You saw when I got thrown.
Yeah.
I did like a full on like front flip. I don't even know the name of that technique, but
judo throw. It was like a shoulder throw.
Yeah.
You get the arm and you go over.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, the commentator said it, but I just remember it.
Ippon Sayanagi.
Yeah.
Coach Brown Sugar bringing in the knowledge here. What's it called?
I'm a yellow belt in judo, just so everyone knows, yellow belt.
A green belt.
My arm was like on his neck, like a collar tie, and then he's grabbed my arm and he's turned and he's thrown me over.
Yeah, Ippon Sayanagi. Yeah.
Ippon Sayanagi. Yeah, I got Ippon Sayanagi'd harder than I ever have in my life, and I like. Do you know that feeling you get when you go down like a roller coaster? That, or like a big bump or something in the car. That kind of like, I no joke felt that like mid air while I like flipped. And then I remember like just standing up, and I was freaking out in my head, because he was like pointing at me. He was like saying, "Yeah, come on." And I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, I just got thrown." Like that was so scary. But I managed to catch him at the end of the first round and dropped him. But that was a wicked fight. He like he hit me with a flying knee in the last round as well.
It was in our corner. So like when we were there, like I remember like you throw punches, and then throw this knee, and it hit. I see it bang on your ribs, and I was waiting just for you, because I went where I was in the corner, so I was going to drop, like, because I was waiting for you to drop, and you didn't drop, but then you clipped him. Yeah, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it definitely hurt. Like when he first landed it, I thought he heard me wince, because like obviously knocked out all the air, so I was like, ugh. And then after that, I was just trying to survive throughout the round. I managed to catch some shots, but when you're in like that, 3-round war, back and forth, and then it was like, 30 seconds left. It was just scrambles, and then just with the ground and pound. That's what it was one of my favorite, I think, as well, because it was extremely tough. But you know those last few rounds in Split-Out where you're just pushing, everyone's like shouting at you, and you're unloading the tank, like technique's kind of gone at that point. It felt like that to finish the fight. And then got the win, which was really, really cool. But then as soon as I started to walk out of the ring, like step by step, as the adrenaline like wore off, I started to feel how like messed up I was in my lung and everything. And then it turned out I had like fractured ribs and my lung collapsed. But we only found that out like a week after.
It was the worst doctor ever, because we got you checked out twice.
Yeah.
And he went, "Oh, it's just bruising."
I know. Yeah, he didn't
fight the next day, and then you fought Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, that was so scary. The next day in the final, we had all been joking about like the fact that we're fighting people from all over the world. We're always joking like, "Oh, what if we fight like a Dagestani or like some sort of like really tough country? And what if we fight a Khabib Nurmagomedov?" Yeah. And then in the final, like the guy's name was Magomedov.
And so you've got like one collapsed lung.
Yeah.
Like punctured.
Yeah. I didn't know it was at the time though.
I didn't know.
I just knew it was really sore.
The doctor checked him out twice, and then we got him out on the night to check him out, and then he said, "No, it's just like really just pain. It's just like pain, like bruising."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I want to fight," and I was like, "Well, as long as it's like not damaged." But obviously, I'm not a doctor. But yeah,
because basically the doctor said he couldn't tell without like X-rays or anything like that. And I was in the final, and that was pretty scary, because I kind of like really wanted to pull out, considering how I felt like physically. I definitely didn't think I was okay, but yeah, we got like 2 assessments from the doctor, and he said it was really hard to tell without an X-ray or any kind of scan. So he basically said it was up to me, and it was my opinion whether I wanted to fight. So I was like, oh, it's only like amateur, like it's 3 rounds, I'll be able to jump in. If it doesn't go my way, that's all right, but I'll kick myself if I don't do it. So I jumped in, had the final fight, and like luckily still went the distance and everything. Like didn't get stopped or anything like that.
Wrestling wasn't it mostly?
Yeah, he actually pretty much could beat me. Like just kind of like took me down. Like I would get back up, and then he'd kind of like drag me down again, and then sag on me a little bit. And I remember every time I was trying to like stand up, it was just like hurt so much, like twisting my ribs and stuff. But yeah, like he got the win. It was a really good fight. I'd love to fight him again, like in the future or something.
He was like the Asian champion, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had won one of the he'd won one of the previous like Asian championships, and then this was like for the worlds and stuff. But he was really good. Like, but I definitely would love to have fought him like if I was pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But so that's why that even though that was like the final fight, definitely wasn't the hardest one because I wasn't like completely fresh. So therefore, I kind of felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do. But in that semi-final, like I was pretty fresh at the time, through everything. It was a real back and forth fight. But then that's a good competitor compared to the Brad Ramsey fight. Because his leg kicks were like absolutely lethal. Like he like busted up my leg. I nearly got like compartment syndrome in my leg because it swelled up so much after the fight. But I'm not sure what happened to him. His leg was pretty bust as well.
Yeah, you were both battered backstage. They both like need some drugs.
Yeah.
What actually caused the punctured lung? The throat?
The knee. So it was the knee. So in that fight, there was a couple knees, like a couple times he landed.
One in the corner. That was the one. Like I went, oh, and I thought you were gonna drop. And that was the one that made the sound. Like
all the air just like left my lungs. And I remember, so the way it got explained to me was it was a blunt trauma. So the blunt trauma to my like ribs caused like the detachment from like my lungs and my chest cavity. So and then I think when I got scanned like a week later, this is after being in Amsterdam for like a week.
So you looked after yourself in Amsterdam.
I did look after myself in Amsterdam. Obviously, like just had fights over the course of like 4 days. So I like had good recovery in Amsterdam, and then after that I had a flight home, and then that's when I went to emergency. And they said, like your lungs collapsed by 10%. Make sure that you don't smoke and make sure that you don't fly under any circumstances. And I was like, yeah, awesome. Okay, I'll make sure not to do that, you know.
From now.
From now.
Yeah, because I spoke to Steve on the phone, I think just after you guys had like wrapped up Gamma. And he was saying like, I think you were saying like when he was like getting like warmed up for the finals, he said you looked tired, and he's like, I've never seen Kev tired, and he's like,
because I was like, keep saying to you, I'm going to pull you out, and you're like, no, let me do it, let me have a go, and I'll just tap out of it. And I was like, well, and then I was going by what the doctor told me, and then obviously he's like, well, the doctor's seen you, and then he's seen you for a half an hour examination. You mustn't be as bad as you're making out. You've been a bit of a pussy.
Definitely be a little bit, yeah.
Well, I remember after the comp, because we sat in the same room, and then like when Kev was sleeping, he'd be breathing so heavy, and I was thinking to myself like, definitely something ain't right. Like, no way someone sleeps like, breathes like this when sleeping.
You weren't sharing the same room, were you?
No, not at the Hilton, but afterwards when he stayed in the city.
We went to the next hotel. I remember that because I woke up and I remember you were looking at me and you were like,
"You're right." Like,
I woke up and he's so concerned.
Didn't you have an incident in your room or something?
Oh yeah, because my first fight I lost. I thought like, the guy who got silver, then he won European, titles, and then so the first straight away I landed one leg kick. I sprawled. He threw me over his head. On German suplexed me, and then armbarred, and then lucky the ref stopped it because my arm was stuffed. Then we went out the night after, the Saturday, got on it, fucking drinks, and then Ashby kept shouting, had a bit of a joint, and then completely just went out.
You went very well, were you?
Yeah,
very well. I think Seb was trying to look after you.
Can't handle my alcohol, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But especially like when you've been, in all fairness, like. You've been training so hard for a fight. You're so fit, and like it doesn't take many drinks to get like.
I think we'll have to wrap this up now. I think because we're running over that 1 hour mark. So I think the first one's done in the books, and we'll hopefully have heaps more in the future. A lot of people have been saying they want me to start the podcast, and people from over the UK and other places I've trained around the world, we're going to get them people on as well, plus people from the gym. So hopefully you liked it, and we'll go to the next one. See you later.
Bye, folks.
Thank you. Goodbye.
See you guys. Thanks for having us. The Champs.